again on my snowman rig, literally near the post of the peg on the end tackle that I showed you in the first two videos. Good session today. Let's pop him back. So of course, to go with your hook length that you now tied, you now need to know what to combine it with, such as the tubing, the lead and the back lead, to make your complete end rig, which you can use. So I've got a favourite end rig that I've sort of used after seeing quite a few on the telly, on the computer, and I sort of fumbled it together out of all the different things that I've liked in different rigs. I'll show you how to make that end rig. So to make the complete end rig for this rig that I'm using, these are the main components and everything that you'll need to create it. So first off, the pre-made hook length, which we made in our last video. Also, of course, the bait to go on it. Then you also need some sort of lead clip system, which just makes a bolt rig, which is the type of rig that I'm making safe and is a must on most fisheries. And of course, you've chosen lead. I only use a small one, but whatever you need to cast to distance wise, choose your own. Then one of these, which is made by Corda, which is called a quick link. You can see it's got the little bit there, and that's what we'll tie onto the main line, which will then be used to attach the hook link to the main line, as so. And finally, there's a rubbing leader to protect the fish's scales. We have a piece of tubing which will thread up the line. Then we have a small rubber bead, and then the two components of the flying back lead. So that's all the bits you need to make this complete end rig. So first things first is the bead and the back lead. So for making the end rig, it's sort of important to try and get the end of your line as straight as possible, because getting the tubing on can be a pain at the best of times. So first off, you want to put the small rubber bead on. Now you want to put it, one end it will have a smaller eye and one end it will have a wider eye. You want to put the line in the slightly smaller eye, like so. So that goes up the line. And it's also important, I don't know if you can see, to try and cut your line at an angle so that it's sort of pointed, which helps it go through the tubing easier. So then we take our tubing. I've got 15-pound line on this one, which is a bit heavier than I normally use, so it'll probably take a while to get through, and you push it through until it comes out the other side. It can take some time and a few tries, but once you get it, and it should be able to stay on there for quite a while. So it's taken a bit of time, but as you can see now, finally got the tubing up the line. So in one case, you just keep trying it, try and get your line straight with the angle at the end, and get a straight, fresh bit of tubing that's either been completely dried out or is fresh from the packet. So now, if you take the bigger end of the bead, if you just push the end of the tubing in there, just keeps everything neat. So now we move on to the lead clip. Now a lead clip system allows you to fish with a bolt rig that's fixed to the hook link, which is good for hooking effect and is why I use it, but it's also safe. So if a carp does snap off when you got it, it can easily get rid of the lead and isn't trailing it, which of course is a good thing. So to attach one, you take the first piece like this, get the little clip as you can see here, take your swivel of your lead on the clip like so, and simply pull it into place like that. So if ever a carp does get tethered up, pulls off like that. I normally like to cut the tail down just a little bit, just so it comes off easily, even though I very rarely ever snag on a fish. Before this though, on the line goes the tail rubber. That was a fish jumping behind me. So this goes up the line there and goes over the clip to keep the lead on. Obviously you don't want it falling off all the time. Slide that up, followed by the lead clip with the lead on. That goes up like so. Now the next thing is something a bit unique that I like to do, and that's how I attach the hook link to the actual little main line itself. Now I use one of these, which is made by Corda, which is called a quick link. You can see there. So I tie this to the line with a simple half blood knot, like so. That, and now we tighten it down. Of course, before you 100% tighten the knot, it's important you moisten it. So that's that moistened down, and then we put it tight, because the friction when the line pulls together to tighten up the knot does create a lot of heat, and you can damage the line, which of course can result in lost fish. Now the way that this now works is that the quick link will push inside under a little bit of pressure inside the lead clip, and I have done that. If you see in the insert, is to take a pair of pliers and squash down the lead clip, because normally they're completely circle for pulling in like a barrel swivel in. So I've squashed that to more of an oval shape, as you can see, and that enables this to fit in there quite snugly, but only under a little bit of pressure. So next I'll show you how to attach the hook link onto there and how the rig works. So to attach our hook link, we take the end that we tied the small teardrop adapter onto, on the little prong here, pull it round, and it's snapped shut like that, as strong as anything, which is obviously really good. So then what we do is pull the line tight so that our quick link pops inside the end like that. Now that is semi-fixed, so it's safe, it's legal against the lake rules, but what it enables you to do is as soon as the fish takes the bait, it gets the full weight of the lead. And now what sometimes, some of the, especially the bigger ones, can feel the weight of the lead and pendulum it like this, side to side, which can lever the hook out. Now what this one does is it'll hit the lead, and then as soon as it bolts, that comes out. So all it does is go on a run, which is especially good for the bigger fish, as they can give very tentative bites that you might not strike, which is because they've felt the hook in their lip and they stayed dead still and then try and use the lead to swing it. This is exactly what happened with my personal best carp, a 39 pound, was when I had that. I got taps on the rod tip and it arched over a bit, and that was it. There was no run or anything. Had I left that, it might have just dropped back slack like normal and I would have left it, and no 39 pounder for me. So this is a really good rig. I really do like it. It's safe as well, so if you snap off all this off the line, and that's really good. So to sum up how it works, on the lake bed, fish picks it up, feels the weight of the lead, tries to get rid of it, lead pops out, on a run, bang, you're into the fish. So now I'll show you how to finish off the lead, off the rig, and then we'll bait up and I'll give you the final rig. So there we have it, the final rig. The last thing to do, as you may have seen, the two bits left, is to put the flying back lead on. Now what this does, because of the shape of it, the concave here, when you cast it out and it's on the line, it will fly backwards, so sometimes, depending on how far you cast it, up to 12 feet. So that means this is behind the line and pins the last 12 feet of line right to the deck, which is just what you want if you've got line shy fish. So attach these, you've got a little groove in there, slide the main line into that and into up the little shaft as well. So that's on there, and you take the little groove of the lead and slot that on as well. And then I like to put them, both the grooves, in opposite angle, just so there's no chance of losing it. Push that on tight and that slides on the line. So when you cast out, rig's going through the air pushes the lead back, and then that sits on the bottom, and then I fish personally with a slack line just to sink it even more, and then just to watch for some tentative bites, and that's the rig. So from hook to back lead, that's everything I've shown you in the last two videos. All's left to do now is to bait up. I'm going to be using something I've been using for the last few hours, which is one strawberry boilie, which I know worked very well on this lake, followed by a small fluoro pop-up in a snowman format. Now how this sits, I'll show you in the water in an insert. Hook lies on the bottom, and then these two critically balance each other in a snowman rig and waft above like that, which looks really good. So I'll show you that in the insert, and now we're ready cast out. So braided hook length with the bit silicone, size 10 hook, knotless knot, to the little teardrop adapter to a quick link. Then we've got a lead clip system. This is my personal favourite lead, not too heavy, and when I was on my 48-hour session, I did get some long range casts in there with not too much difficulty. Then we've got our tubing to a bead, and then finally to the back lead. It's also worth mentioning that this, I know for a fact that the bottom of this lake bed is very thick silt, so I've gone for silk coloured lead clip, silk coloured tubing and a silk coloured bead. But had I been fishing, say, the top lake Withy, I know that there's quite a lot, it's a gravel bottom there, and there's a lot of debris from the bushes and things. So with the dead leaves on the bottom, all black lead clip and tubing system such as this does work very well. But it's all relative to the water you fish, which is why I'm fishing gravel now. So I'm going to get this rod back in and hopefully catch a few more carp. Just a little chat this time, but this is fish number 15. Had this one on the same snowman rig, but this time with a pink pineapple popper instead of a yellow one. Hi guys, so that's the end of my session here. It's dark now, time to go. I've had 23 carp in total, the biggest of which was about 16-17 pound, which I got a picture of now. All of which I had on my basic rigs and basic end tackle that I showed you earlier on. So it just goes to show what you can have with a simple bit of gear and not a lot of bait. So please subscribe to the channel. Lots more coming up, such as PVA stringers, PVA bags, a bit about baits, where to fish on your swim, and some session blogs and also some catch posts. So thanks for checking out this video guys. See you on the bank sometime, and tight lines.